Yo, what is going on here? Welcome into another episode talking about our favorite team, the Arizona Cardinals. And of course, I'm joined by my good buddy here, Mythic AZ. We are in the thick of the offseason here, and not really much happening for the Arizona Cardinals, but we're still chugging along. How are you doing, Mythic?
Man, I'm doing pretty good. And the Cardinals, obviously, there's not much to talk about. So today we're kind of just going to dive in, just everything NFL, just to
Yeah.
play off the landscape, everything that's going on, the matchups. We're just going to talk about coaching and, if that affects somebody that we want as Cardinals fans in the draft. So how are you doing?
I'm good, can't complain. Obviously this is kind of like the weird spot of like the NFL, especially for teams that didn't make it to the playoffs. I'm just curious if from you, like, what is your plans? Because if you guys do not know, obviously we both have our respective channels. We got Mythic AZ as well as the AZ Sports Fan here on YouTube. What are your plans here for the next upcoming months on your channel, and what are you going to kind of bring to the audience?
It's going to be a lot of draft, free agency, just off-season stuff, everything that's going to be going on with Cardinals, people we could potentially trade for, just stuff like that.
Yeah.
I'm assuming
Same.
it's going to be very similar for you too.
Yeah, same. Yeah, it's what it is. But we don't have a situation where we have to worry about our coaches, which is a good thing. I honestly, I'm tired of the whole moving around, this, and that. So I'm excited about kind of a stress-free, but also kind of exciting off season. So definitely keep a lookout here for Mythic AZ's video drops, as well as the AZ Sports Fan here, that will just be sporadically dropping from here March and in April. So all right, let's dive into it. We got some breaking news coming out in the world of the NFL, not Cardinals related, but I kind of want to talk about the most recent firings and the most recent savings as well. Let's talk about Mike Vrabel getting fired here. Now, we talked about this on the last podcast, and you're like, I don't know if that's going to happen, but it happened. What
I
are your
did
thoughts on
not.
that, man?
I didn't see that coming. Like, genuinely, I feel like Mike Vrabel is going to land on his feet
Yeah,
somewhere,
I agree.
like instantly. I feel like he's a great head coach. People
Me
can
too.
buy into him. People love playing for Vrabel, and just the way he not only carries himself, but just gets the players to rally behind him.
Yeah.
That team's going to hire him. And if Bill Belichick ends up leaving New England, Mike Vrabel to New England makes perfect sense in my opinion. It's just like a perfect transition. But I don't know. That surprised me. Did it surprise you?
I heard the rumors. It's shocking that he got fired because I do respect him as a coach. I think he's a really good head coach personally. I did hear the rumors. So in terms of like the news being out, it doesn't shock me there because I heard about it prior, but it is weird. I do agree that he is going to land on his feet. What are your thoughts on Bill Belichick? How has this man still got a job? I thought he was going to get fired.
I don't know. I definitely thought Bill Belichick was going to be on the hot seat. And I don't know. The rumors and just everything that's been coming out, it's just kind of led towards Bill Belichick getting canned up. And he
Yeah.
hasn't yet. He's still there. I don't know if they're just trying to figure out everything. Maybe makes a transition somewhere else, maybe like internally. I'm not sure. But I don't know. Bill Belichick has a lot of options. He's like 71 years old. Retirement could happen too. I mean, he can go coach some team like the Chargers. Like, there's just plenty of options out there. And Bill Belichick, I feel like if he gets his hands on the Chargers, would be disgusting. Being able to run that defense just with all the talent they have and Justin Herbert, young quarterback. And if he can't get it done there, I mean, problem Bill Belichick.
Yeah. No, it's so trippy. I mean, obviously, we still have some news coming out today, and today's Wednesday. So Black Monday technically was Monday, but we're still kind of getting some things coming out of the pipeline now. For example, Brian Dable, I mean, he's safe, but I think Wink was their defensive coordinator ended up
Yeah,
resigning.
Wink.
Yeah, he ended up resigning. So I'm like, okay, that's interesting. And not just that, Eberflus is staying with the Chicago Bears, but they fired their offensive coordinator. What are your thoughts on that? We thought that he was going to be gone as well.
Gee, it's crazy, no?
It
It's
is.
insane. Just a lot of things. I don't know. Like, there's just a lot of things that I don't expect to be happening. And if Pete Carroll gets canned up, that'd be crazy too. I mean, he's been there forever. Just kind of obviously not Bill Belichick, but like just in terms of legacy,
Yeah.
Pete Carroll's legacy in Seattle is through the roof. And obviously they have that Marshawn incident, but that you can't let that dictate what he's done
Yeah.
there and been able to accomplish. And obviously one bad play, horrible play, haunts him to this day. But crazy head coach, and then the Bears packing up everybody. I don't know. Kind of scary, but at the same time, it could mean that they're looking for someone who's either pro Justin Fields or Caleb Williams. It can swing either way.
I apologize. I do not mean to interrupt you, but my guy here, Adrian, is actually bringing us breaking news. Pete Carroll is actually not expected to come back in Seattle next year.
Wow.
Breaking news. Whoa. All right.
I
Well,
just saw that.
let's bring that. Appreciate you. I thought you were just suggesting, honestly. I didn't think
I
you
thought
were.
he was too. Like,
Here
let's
it
go
is.
ahead and pull it up.
Oh, there you go. You got it.
Breaking
Whoa.
news. Pete Carroll is gone.
Ladies and gentlemen, that is nuts. We got the report here from Adam Schefter. It says a shocker in Seattle. Pete Carroll is expected to be out of Seattle's head coach per sources. He could still remain in the organization, but not as a head coach. You know, here's the
Wow.
wild part. So I am also part of a different kind of YouTube channel where we talk about within the division. And one thing that the Seattle Seahawks guy told me is that he wouldn't be shocked that he gets let go, but he would also be shocked at the same time because Pete Carroll is also not only the head coach, he's like top dog. He's almost kind of like
The
the decision
GM,
maker of everything.
like
Like,
Bill
yeah, they have a
Belichick is for
GM.
New
Yeah,
England.
exactly. He's like a Bill Belichick over there in Seattle. So he can still stay in the organization, but not as a head coach. Man, that is crazy. What are your thoughts on this?
Well, I said I didn't think it was going to happen. Or if it did, it'd be shocking. So it's definitely shocking because it happened 2 minutes later and it's like confirmed. I thought it was just speculation, Adrian. I thought you were just speculating in the chat, but no, it's like legit. Like he's gone. He's packed up. It's I don't.
Wow.
There's no way he's just gone from the organization. I feel like he's going to take a GM role, and if he doesn't, and if he's just gone completely, then I'm going to be shocked. Are you surprised?
I am. We just got so on Tuesdays we talk about the entirety of the NFC West, right? So they get a perspective of the Cardinals, they get a perspective of everybody in the West. And there has been rumblings. There's been rumblings about Pete Carroll and the not happiness because they got weapons. If you look at their roster, like they should probably be better than what they were. Now, granted, 9-8 isn't something to sneeze at. That's a really good accomplishment to its own. But like a lot of people have been upset about the idea of him not elevating this offense to the level of what everybody's doing in the NFL, right? Your motions and kind of different formations. A lot of people saying that they're stuck in like the 1970s, 1980s. It's what they kind of talk about when they talk about Pete Carroll. So it's crazy. I'm kind of shocked. I'm not going to lie to you. My jaw's a little dropped.
Yeah,
And that is definitely going to have some implications in the NFC West. Do you agree?
absolutely. Either the Seattle Seahawks are going to go crazy next season and they're going to be able to elevate, or they're going to struggle. I mean, it's going to be a rookie head coach regardless of where you look at it, unless they hire a veteran.
And Geno Smith. Do you think that I doubt they'll go quarterback? Like they won't trade up, right? Like that's way too far. I think they're sitting like what, 15, 16, 17, something like that.
It's possible.
Yeah.
If they believe desperately that Drake May or somebody is their guy, then they'll trade up. But that'd be a very interesting team because I feel like all three teams need a quarterback in the top three. Maybe not Chicago unless they trade to Seattle for number one, which would suck. Because, if Caleb Williams does end up panning out, then who do we get to play for 2 of the games of the regular season? It would be him. So I don't know. That would suck. I don't know. Do you think Seattle ends up making a move?
With what I heard, it doesn't seem like it's gonna happen this year. They kind of painted it in a way where they kind of feel the same way. And I'm not saying Cardinal fans want to move of Kyler, but it's kind of the same situation where the contract's really big. And Geno's contract is not big, but it's also not something that you can just be like, okay, we'll get somebody else. I think they're going to be at least riding with Geno one more year, is what I was explained to. But like the guy I also talked to said that he wouldn't be shocked if Pete Carroll goes, but he would be shocked. So it's kind of like, you got to kind of take your whatever you want to take out of that. So that's interesting. Whoa.
You see who the top candidate is as well? Reportedly is Dan Quinn.
Dang. No way.
That would kind of suck.
That would. I'm not going to lie to you. And I'm not going to lie to you, Mythic. Dan Quinn was a guy that I really, really liked when we were doing our interviews.
Yeah. I mean, he just brings a defensive mindset that would completely change his team in terms of defensive coordinators. I wanted him.
Sure.
Vic Fangio would have been all right, but Dan Quinn just brings level of intensity that just would be fantastic for any team. And if he's able to get his hands on the defensive players on this team, like Devon Witherspoon and Tariq Woolen, I'm good.
That's
Personally, I don't want to see it.
crazy.
I don't want to see it. I don't want to see him take this over. And what's crazy is with Pete Carroll gone, Bobby Wagner is most likely probably out the door, if I had to guess. I mean, he was signed back to a 1-year deal from the Rams.
Right.
So either Bobby Wagner goes somewhere else or he retires after this one season, or he comes back. I mean, he did lead the league in tackles, but I've heard a lot about Bobby Wagner going. And with Pete Carroll going, kind of just goes hand in hand, unless he takes, like, I don't know. Maybe Seattle's dynasty is completely wiped at this point. We're going to see a new Seattle.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe. Maybe a sweep. I'm just kidding. I'm not gonna go that far. I want to see what the Cardinals is building this coming off season, which is still really exciting on its own. But man, what a way to break some news here. I appreciate you, Adrian, for letting us know and obviously
Absolutely.
us checking it out. But let's continue to talk about the Bears, because the Bears is going to be a team where we're going to be constantly talking about, and that's up until the draft, whether you like it or you don't. And the reason
Right.
why is because they're the number 1 overall spot, and it depends on what they're going to do. Do you think the Eberflus retain, like keeping him? Do you think that is more of an enticement for them to keep Justin Fields?
Shoot.
I know.
The Bears, it's so freaking weird. Because not only did they retain Eberflus, but they fired their OC. So it's just like, I don't know. It can go either way in my eyes, and I really don't know.
Well,
I have no clue.
when you fire an OC, I'm not talking about the Bears, but like usually when you hear about the firing an OC, what does that usually tell you? To me, it tells me it's kind of a scapegoat. And also, it also tells me that they didn't believe in the philosophy of the offense. Maybe they were stunting the offense in general. And maybe that's what they felt like with this offensive coordinator. And maybe they are going to keep Justin Fields.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely something that, like, I kind of agree with you. That's kind of where my mindset went. Like, scapegoat. That was the perfect word, is just scapegoat. And when you have no one else to blame and you don't want to blame the quarterback, you blame the OC. And sometimes you can tell when it is genuinely the offensive coordinator's fault. And maybe for Chicago fans, he was the problem. I'm not entirely sure. I'd have to like genuinely look at how Chicago ran their offense. And the games I watched, it just didn't look fantastic in general.
Right.
And I feel like Justin Fields isn't great at decision making and being able to read a defense entirely for 60 minutes and picking up whatever. But that's just me personally. I feel like Justin Fields in the ground game is fantastic. But like you said, I feel like it was a major scapegoat. And if I'm not mistaken, Eberflus does like Justin Fields. So,
Yep.
Yeah. If it indicates towards anything, it seems like a scapegoat, because Eberflus and Justin Fields, I believe, do have a good relationship. So I feel like, unfortunately, it appears like the moves being made seem like they're going to retain Justin Fields.
Feels like it. And it's so crazy too, because like literally day after day, or from day to day to week, it's like my mind changes. Because literally on Monday we're like, or at least I can't speak for you, but for me, I heard Justin Fields talk, and I'm like, oh, man's gone.
Right.
But like, I don't see them keeping Eberflus and having him pick his quarterback. You know what I mean? I don't see that. I see them retaining Justin Fields, giving it another chance, because this move is telling me, oh, this is this guy's fault, right? Now that we got him out, we're going to be able to fix it now, ladies and gentlemen. Watch Justin Fields now is what this tells me. So this is going to be interesting to see how this plays out. It's unfortunate, but I think that's kind of the way that the cookie's going to crumble. Sucks.
Absolutely. It's not a good look. Do they take Marvin Harrison at 1, though?
That would be crazy. It would be seriously be crazy, but like, if everybody, like kind of how you said, if they truly believe generational talent he is, why wouldn't you? Unless you can make some trade back and get some assets back coming your way, then that would be the smarter move. If you wanted to go to like Washington or maybe even the Patriots, maybe somehow getting them in a ruffled fight with each other.
I think what sucks is people are saying that we potentially need to trade up. I don't think so. I really don't. I don't think the Patriots take Marvin Harrison. If they do, then crazy. But what sucks is Chicago could trade back to number 3 with New England.
Exactly.
And I don't like that at all, because not only does it make sense perfectly, like that would be the ideal draft order. Chicago gains more draft capital on top of getting their guy, and they basically screw us out of Marvin Harrison by just landing right in front of us, being able to dictate everything, and just dropping down, letting New England get that guy in Caleb Williams, more than likely, unless they shock the world and like take Drake May. But like, I mean, that would be ideal for them. So I don't know. I also heard people talking about how we need to trade up. Do you think we need to trade up to, let's say, number 3 to New England to solidify a chance? Because even if we do end up trading up, I feel like it doesn't matter because Chicago kind of dictates it with whatever happens with the number 1 overall pick. So they kind of make the first move.
Yeah.
So if they make that trade, then there's no trade up to be made. So I don't really understand when people are like, yeah, we need to trade up to get them. I'm like, how? Let's say we call New England. We're like, yeah, we want to trade up to number 3. Cool. That deal's done. Chicago's still at number 1. They're like,
we saw what you did there, Cardinals. We're taking them at 1.
What are you guys doing?
Yeah.
And they can just be like, yeah, I'm going to trade with Washington. Or, you know what? Guess what? Watch this. Pick solidified. What, we're second number 3 for nothing? Like,
we would just shoot ourselves in the foot, honestly. Literally. Like, if we would lose capital for 1 spot when we can still get top offensive linemen, we could still possibly get a wide receiver that we want. And obviously, if Marvin Harrison goes, I get it's going to break the hearts of a lot of Cardinals fans, and it's going to suck. I'm not going to lie to you. But you know, there's still other wide receivers. I still haven't looked into Malik Neighbors, but like, there's a lot of people in my comments being like, look into him, man. He's really, really nice, really, really cool. So I don't know. I have faith in Monty. I think Monty's going to definitely be, put us into the promised land, or at least get us into a level where we're in contention more than not. Hopefully, fingers crossed.
Right. We need it. In my opinion, I feel like Marvin Harrison just transcends it. So
yeah, no, I agree.
Cross for the next 4, 5, 6 months.
And that's the thing too. Like, here's the thing. Like, I just made a video about this yesterday, and I could see a world where like it could be quarterback. Yeah. Even if it's not Chicago, if Chicago wants to get as much draft capital as they possibly want to build around Justin Fields, you would get a lot more draft capital to trade back until like the outside the top 4, top 5, obviously, right? But I get where the fans are like, no, you stay here, you get Marvin Harrison Jr., or you trade back to 3 and you still get Marvin Harrison Jr. I get that looks more enticing, but like, I don't know, man. Like, even if Chicago doesn't get him, I could still see somebody move to number 1, and then Washington gets their quarterback, and then New England gets a quarterback too, and then that leaves obviously the Arizona Cardinals with this. So like, just different scenarios. It's just all depending on what the hell the Chicago Bears are going to do.
Literally. And then if New England decides number 3 is the spot for them, because I don't know, like, if you're New England and let's say Drake May and Caleb Williams do go off the board, it is possible they take someone like Jaden Daniels, or
yeah, I agree,
somebody like that. But like, do we see Jaden Daniels going to New England?
So if it's not with Bill Belichick, I think anything's on the table. So if with Bill Belichick there, like if he does stay, I think the only quarterback that he would want would be Drake May. I don't know what it is. I feel like he's more of a typical type of quarterback, not a guy that runs out of the pocket, scramble like your Jaden Daniels and your Caleb Williams. I feel like Drake May would be a good fit. And I'm not saying he's going to flourish or he's going to be great with them. I'm just saying I feel like that would be more of a type of quarterback that he likes. But if they get rid of him and then they go a completely young head coach, hey man, it's the new NFL right now. A lot of people have quarterbacks that are running out of the pocket, extending plays, and Jaden Daniels is a Heisman Trophy winner, so he's got.
That is true.
Be worth
I feel like it's just so hard to see Jaden Daniels go number 3.
No, I agree.
Just in terms of my draft evaluation, it's hard to watch Jaden Daniels go 3. It's also hard for me to watch a lot of this draft order land where it is. But,
I know.
You know, I'm also not a scout, so like my word's not gospel. It's just what I'm evaluating, and it's crazy to watch Jaden Daniels go number 3.
Also, we can't forget that the Chargers, they're in the market for a wide receiver. Maybe not free agency, but in the draft. So, like, if the Cardinals do play a little greediness, like, let's say, for example, we're like, oh, we want to move back, right? We could possibly lose out on a Malik Neighbors, or maybe we lose out on a Roma Dunze. So we got to really play this very, very smart, especially if we don't retain a Marquise Hollywood Brown, in my opinion. So
that is very true.
Somebody in the chat says, I can see us bringing in, honestly, someone like Justin Jefferson. Somebody on the chat. My guys, what are your thoughts on that?
Don't get me started on the Justin Jefferson hype train. I am so there. I'm so there. You don't even understand.
Yeah.
That is like, let's say he does go off. I would allocate the 4th overall pick somewhere. Call Minnesota. We have another first rounder in the back end. See if we can potentially trade that with like Rondale Moore or something like that and try to dictate a trade there. Honestly, I feel like not only would we have to pay him, which is fine. There's someone I wouldn't pay. That's Brian Burns. I feel like Brian Burns is really good, but that edge rusher money, like just having to pay him instantly and
Yeah.
not even getting that rookie contract and allowing him to develop, it sucked. He is established, but I don't know. Like Brian Burns is someone I'm like iffy on. A lot of people, I've seen his name surface, but Justin Jefferson, I would pay him in a heartbeat. Heartbeat. I will take that, honestly.
It's interesting. That's interesting. Got somebody in the chat saying that Jamar Chase is going to be testing the free agency market. I think he's still under contract.
I believe he is, if I'm not mistaken. I think he's eligible for an extension. If I'm not mistaken, I don't think he.
Yeah, he was just picked up in 2021. So you have 4 years minimum.
And I think this is his 4th year.
Yeah, so then they can pick up your 5th year option because you're a first rounder is what is coming to my mind. And I think for first round picks, that's kind of the same thing for everybody. So you have 4 years. I mean, unless the Bengals are going to want to trade him, that's a possibility. But like, yeah, extensions are obviously a thing that these top players are going to want. And there was something out there saying that Jamar Chase was talking to the front office about possibly getting an extension. If he doesn't get it, I could see that man being very, very salty and not wanting to be in that organization.
I can see it too, honestly. I feel like wide receivers, they want their money. Like, I don't know. It's just how they are. You know, wide receivers kind of have that ego to them where it's like a lot of them are me, me, me. I don't think it's me, 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 though. I feel like he hasn't really gotten paid yet. This is going to be his first contract. Justified, in my opinion. It's justified.
I agree.
You want to get paid. You want to go get your bag. You want to set yourself up financially for the rest of your life. And this is your first big contract. You want to make it to your second contract. This is his second contract where you sign the big bucks.
Right.
He wants that. I don't blame him whatsoever. You pay me, my whatever I do on the field speaks for itself. Now, keep the same energy in negotiations. Pay me my bag. And it sucks because they do have to pay T. Higgins as well, who is up for contract this year. And then it's Jamar Chase next year.
Exactly.
And that is where it gets tough because they might lose T. Higgins en route to having to pay Jamar Chase.
Did you watch? So there was a video that was floating around in the Twitter/X world.
The locker room video with Jamar Chase.
Yes, the locker room, and he basically said, I think it's this one. I think I found it. Basically, like, he was like, "Well, it depends on how much I take," because they asked him about T. Higgins, and then he said, "It depends how much I take." I think it's this one. Let me do a real quick sharing of the screen. Like I said, this podcast we're just wilding, y'all, because there's no Cardinal news, so we're just hanging out with each other more than anything. So just bear with us. We're just going ham today. Oh, maybe not. Never mind. That's not it. Sorry, I apologize. That's not it.
I could find it real quick.
Yeah. But basically, just to kind of recap, is they were talking about obviously negotiations, and he was like, "Yeah, you know, we're talking to the front office, you know, usual stuff." And then they said, "Well, how do you think that like affects T. Higgins because he's also up for a contract?" He's like, "Well, I don't know. It just depends on how much they pay me."
I sent it to you on Twitter.
You know, insinuating that, you know, he's going after that money. He wants to get paid, and I don't blame him.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy. I sent the video so we can pull it up real quick.
Perfect.
But he literally just said it depends how much I'm going to take, which I was going to bring that up too. So I'm glad you saw it too and are familiar with it because T. Higgins is a free agent right now. If they don't bring him back, I mean, Jamar Chase is going to get extended. No, hands down. They're going to throw the bag at him, and it's set in stone. But if the Bengals end up losing T. Higgins, it's going to be a big loss. Big loss.
100% agree. Okay, I got the video right here. Let me go ahead and bring it up. 1 second. All right, let's share this bad boy up. So yeah, the Jamar Chase thing, I definitely know it makes sense pertaining to like he wants to get extended. That does make sense. But in terms of like, he's not. I don't think he can't be a free agent right now.
I don't think so. I think he's on a contract for 2024.
I know you're going a little too far now, buddy. I don't know. Give you a little spice. Don't take all of it. Uh, hmm. That's a good question. You know what I'm saying? Who knows? It depends how much I'm taking. It depends at the end of the day.
Yeah, so he said, "Can you hear it? It's really low
Yeah.
on my end." Okay, you could hear. Okay, perfect. Yes. So yeah, there you go. That's what it is. He wants it. He deserves it. I agree. I think he's definitely top 5, top 7, top 8 wide receiver in the entirety of the league. So he definitely deserves it. We're not saying that. It's just when you do pay a wide receiver that much money, you got to be mindful of the rest of the team too. And T. Higgins is obviously a guy that's up for a contract because he got picked up a year before. Jamar Chase. So he's technically a free agent, like you said, because they didn't pick up his 5th-year option, right?
I don't think so.
Okay.
But am I tripping? That's such a weird question to ask in a locker room. Like, that's such a weird question, like, to ask. Are you going to take less money next year, basically, or whenever you get extended? Like, it's so weird when you flip it to NFL players because we pocket watch so hard. Like,
big time.
Like if you flip it to like anything or like your friends or your family, it's so weird discussing like just finances in general. Like, oh, how much do you make? Or like, oh, are you getting a bonus or did you get laid off or something? In the NFL, it's just like open arms. Like you don't have a choice. Your contract is publicly leaked and whatever. So people know like your contract expires this year. You're making this much. You get taxed this much. It's crazy how that works though. And then to get asked that in a locker room is tough, but like, I mean, it's the business you're in though.
Yeah.
So this is reality. T. Higgins is a free agent and he either is going to get signed or he's gone. And Jamar Chase, whatever he makes next year is going to dictate that. Cause I don't know where the wide receiver market is. It's probably smart to extend Jamar Chase now if he's eligible, cause it's only going to go up. I would extend him before Justin Jefferson gets extended. Cause as soon as that happens, man, imagine what Justin Jefferson is going to make.
Yeah, that's wild. Somebody on Twitter here just responded to the retweet that I did about the. Do you see? Because I know you posted the thing that maybe Dan Quinn can be like the leading candidate over there. What do you think of Vrabel? What of Vrabel? I know Vrabel's already been linked to New England. Do you see that happening at all? It would suck. I don't see it though.
I don't. It just doesn't seem like a fit.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, I feel like Vrabel, like, they are established. It's just something about Seattle just doesn't seem like Vrabel. Like,
I agree.
I don't know how to describe it. Like, I can't describe it whatsoever. It's just purely feels. Vrabel doesn't feel like a Seattle guy.
Well, it's like Caleb Williams with Bill Belichick. It doesn't go.
It doesn't make sense.
It doesn't go.
It just doesn't fit. Like, there's something about it. Like, I can't see Mike Vrabel being with. I don't know. Like, there's just no, I can't. And if it happens, then I'm wrong. But I just can't see it.
Yeah, no, I agree with that as well. So interesting. No, definitely some interesting stuff. I wish there was more things to talk about the Arizona Cardinals, but like we're sitting good right now. I think most of us are just ready. We're all ready. Everybody in the chat, we're all chomping the bit, man. We're excited about what this offseason is going to bring to us and how different this 2024 roster is going to look like. Absolutely. Let me ask you real quick, Mythic. Do you expect not? Well, I mean, if you want to say playoffs, that's fine. But what is your expectations for 2024 since Kyler Murray is coming back?
7 wins, and I've been pretty steadfast on this. 7 wins is the bare minimum for next year. I feel like if you were sports betting or like there was an odds over under win, I think it should start at like 7.5.
Yeah.
I feel like 7.5 over under is like the perfect line. And I feel like the Arizona Cardinals can finish with anywhere from like 7 to 9. I feel like that's fair. Like 7 to 9, somewhere in there. If I had to be a betting man. And looking at the schedule, I mean, it looks pretty promising. And looking at the Arizona Cardinals this year, and I'm glad I get to use this graphic, is the 4-13 Cardinals ended up beating 3 playoffs teams, which is more wins than these current playoff teams have right now. And that's the Kansas City Chiefs, Houston Texans, Dolphins, Bucks, and the Rams. Kind of crazy.
Honestly, we've said this multiple times, and I know a lot of people don't believe us, and that's fine. But like, we were in a lot of these games, like Josh Dobbs, and that's the crazy thing. Like Josh Dobbs used to be like, we used to say his name hundreds of times in the first 2 months, and obviously, I'm glad we don't have to. And nothing against him. It's just we have our franchise quarterback back, right? There is a level of excitement that comes with when you have your franchise quarterback back. And we're going to have a healthy Kyler Murray to start the season. Hopefully, fingers crossed, right? Knock on wood. But yeah, man, I'm stoked. I think sky's the limit. It just really depends on how the schedule shakes out. But I do see that the Cardinals have 9 home games and then 8 away games, 17 games. So I think we're actually going to have more home games this year. So it's going to be pretty exciting. I'm excited to see what JG and Monty's going to be able to cook up this offseason.
Absolutely. Cannot wait. And like I said, 7-9 wins. If we finish within there, no complaints. Playoffs, who knows, right? Like, there's no reason why this roster, if we do end up getting better like I think we are, shouldn't have a chance. At least if the NFC shakes out the way it did this year, I don't think any big moves are going to happen that's going to elevate an NFC team or just make the NFC super competitive. I feel like it's going to remain pretty similar. Like, the top dogs are the top dogs. You have the 49ers and the Cowboys. The Eagles might take a drop because, I don't know, it's not looking good for Philadelphia.
It isn't.
Did you hear
Sirianni? There's a rumor
No.
out there that Sirianni is in a hot seat. They're saying
It's crazy how one bad year can dictate everything.
he was just in the Super Bowl not too long ago.
Last year.
Yeah. Oh yeah, last year, yeah.
And now you start the season 10-1, you go 5 of your last 6, you end up dropping and on the hot seat. It's crazy how Nick Sirianni could be this. I don't know. That's insane, but
disposable.
Yeah, like just willing to pack them up. I mean,
it's the NFL, man, that we're living in, especially that Philly fan base. And they don't F around, man. They do not F around at all.
Looking for a scapegoat right now. And I guess the head coach is that guy. They're like, he's goofy, whatever. He doesn't do whatever. Then he's probably someone we could scapegoat. Like, who are you going to scapegoat? Really? Like, there's nobody. Like, you really have nobody. I mean, they switched defensive coordinators like 6 times. So far, Matt Patricia's taken over, and now they're looking for another one because it's still not working. So
nobody's looked good as John Gannon.
That's all I'm gonna say, man. Do they miss him? I'm not gonna say too much, but the numbers speak for themselves. We pulled up the graphic a couple times, so.
But even their offense looks so clunky without Shane Steichen. Like, their offense looks so clunky. Like, I don't know, man. It's just. It almost kind of feels like when you look at the Eagles, like the way you beat them is stop the run, let Jalen Hurts beat you. That's it. That's how you beat them.
It's so easy. It's so easy. And if a team like the Cardinals can do it, why can't anybody else do it?
I'm saying, man. I'm saying.
I feel like the Eagles are so predictable. Like, I don't know if you noticed, but watching the game, calling pass or run, or like where the ball was going, and like dictating what side the ball was going to get ran to was super predictable.
Yeah.
In my eyes, I'm like, they're going to run this. Exactly, run it. And I'm like, yeah, it's just so predictable just based on like formations and everything. Like, there's just like, there's no sense of like creativity or like anything in that offense right now. It just feels like it's like, okay, they're going to try to run the ball and they're going to try to target this side of the field and they're going to try to run the ball this way. And based on this formation, they're going to run the ball this way. They do it. It's like, shocker. And I'm not an NFL player. I'm not deep diving on tendencies on film. I'm not the one dissecting everything. And I'm able to call this out. Granted, I don't do week to week like analysis. I'm not studying the Eagles. Jalen Hurts picking up on his tendencies, the O-line, if they stand up or if they are in this position or this, they're going to run the ball. I'm not doing that. These are NFL players who are able to dictate this and have like certain tendencies. They're picking up. The 49ers kind of cued in on like, hey, make Jalen Hurts that passer. Probably going to win the game. And granted, Jalen Hurts had a fantastic game against us in terms of passing. It still wasn't enough.
Yeah. I'm looking at the chat here. Harbaugh is rumored to come back to the NFL. Do you see him going to Seattle?
I don't see it. I can't see Harbaugh coming back.
To the NFL or Seattle in general?
To the NFL.
That's fair.
He just won a natty. He's going back. He's going back. He's not going to just leave it. And even in his exit interview after winning the natty, he's like, well, we're going to get everybody back for spring and we're going to ramp this thing up. So, like, it just seems like his mind is just Michigan right now.
Michigan.
The rumors are circulating. It circulates every year. It's 3 years in a row
True.
now. It's
That's
3 years in a
true.
row now. And where is he still? He's still in Michigan, right?
Yeah.
Like, they're going to pay the man, possibly. Now, that kind of dictates it. I don't know if they paid him officially or whatever, but I'm pretty sure they signed him to a 1-year contract. So who knows, man? Maybe the money's not there. And he's like, you know what? Sayonara.
Yeah, true. I forgot. I used to say this. Oh, Josh.
I'm just so glad we don't have to talk about Josh Dobbs
Me
anymore.
too.
I was really fighting for my life defending Kyler Murray versus Josh Dobbs.
It was
like
rough,
I was fighting for my life. Like, oh, how is Kyler Murray the franchise quarterback? We can win with Josh Dobbs. We're like 1-6 at the time. Like, what are you talking about? We can't win anything. We beat Dallas. Dallas. If we beat Washington and lose out, then maybe people don't think as much. But like, man, like I was fighting for my life, like for real.
No, I mean, don't blame me, man. We, every time on the podcast, people were just waiting to come up here and be like, "You said this," and I was like, "Chill." It's fun though, man. It's cool. Obviously, that's why we do what we do, and
right.
It's cool to talk about our favorite team in the grand scheme of things. Anything else you want to talk about before we close up shop? We're going to do a smaller abbreviated podcast. The way that it's going to be working in the scheduling, because obviously the offseason is here. Any big news we love to cover within the NFL, especially if it affects the NFC West. But we might be doing a schedule change. Obviously TBD. We're going to be letting you guys know here in the community tab here pretty soon. But anything else you want to talk about before we let everybody go?
Just playoffs real quick. Let's go ahead and dive into this
real
quick before we close up shop. So as we see, we have, what is this? It's going to be 4 games, 5 games, 6 games.
1,
okay, 2, I can't count. It's 6 games.
6. Yep, 6. Mm-hmm.
So we have 6 games, and real quick, I just want predictions.
Love it.
On every game. So we're going to start in the AFC with the Steelers and the Buffalo Bills.
Love it.
Who do you got coming out on top of this first matchup on Wild Card Weekend?
Buffalo.
I think that's just consensus Buffalo.
Yeah.
They're going to sweep the Steelers. And if the Steelers win this without TJ Watt because he's not playing, I will be just surprised. Like, shout out to Mike Tomlin for getting it done. Another winning season in the playoffs. I don't know how he does it year in and year out. This roster is not supposed to be in the playoffs, especially 9 wins. The quarterback play is not there. But, hey, they did it. So shout out Mike Tomlin, but you're getting packed up. So get those bags ready. And then we're moving over to Miami versus Kansas City. Tyreek Hill's return to Kansas City.
One. This is a tough one.
And it's snowing.
Oh, wow. I don't know if Miami's that, but I also don't want to see the Kansas City Chiefs advance. But I do think that if you're going to ask me Mahomes or Tua, I'm going to say Mahomes all the time. So I'm going to say Mahomes.
I agree.
Okay.
I agree. Tua hasn't beat any 500 teams. And if they do end up winning, I feel like it's going to be due to the run game over anything. But if it snows, I like that's a tough part. It's going to be a snow game. But I still feel like Kansas City is the better team. And Miami's going to have to execute the run at a high level. Yeah. And obviously they do have Tyreek Hill, but I don't trust Tua, especially in the playoffs in a snow game. It's just, I don't believe in it. I think Kansas City takes it. So through 2 games, we agree. Let's dive into this one because I feel like we're going to agree once again. Cleveland Browns versus Houston Texans. Who do you got?
If you're a Cardinals fan, you're going for the Texans. Shame on you. I'm just kidding. No, I do think Cleveland's going to win.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
if you're a Cardinals, shame on you. We need the Texans to lose. If they win, I'm going to be so upset. Like, they just can't win this. Cleveland, we need Joe Flacco to win this. And if I'm not mistaken, I think it would be Joe Flacco winning this and then playing the Baltimore Ravens. I'm not sure. In terms of seating, I don't know where it would be allocated, but it'd be dope. Yeah. So we agree 3 for 3. We picked Buffalo, Kansas City, and Cleveland. Flipping it to the NFC. Starting out with a known rivalry with the Green Bay Packers and the Dallas Cowboys. I mean, one of the times they played in the playoffs, we had the Dez Bryant catch. Just infamous history here. Who do you have coming out in 2024?
So we're starting Green Bay, and honestly, I like the love story. I truly do, but I'm gonna say Cowboys.
I think so too. Just
Okay, damn.
Cowboys are a way better team on paper. And I think Green Bay is solid. I just don't think this is the year for
Yeah,
them. I do like Jordan Love. I believe he could be a great quarterback. It's been one season. We gotta let him kind of settle in a little bit. This is
yeah.
year one. He looked great in year one,
Oh yeah.
especially in the second half of the season. He looked fantastic. So if Green Bay is able to get three quarterbacks back to back to back that are just like top tier, that shocker. What a franchise.
Right. We've agreed so far. I love it.
And then this is going to be interesting, right?
Mm.
Because if we agree on this one, then I'm going to be kind of shocked. But we have Detroit versus the Matthew Stafford led Rams. Just again, poetic. We have Tyreek Hill in the AFC, Matthew Stafford here with the Green Bay Dallas rivalry as well. Just a lot of crazy storylines so far. But we have Matthew Stafford returning to Detroit, I believe, if I'm
Yeah.
not mistaken.
Yeah, and then Goff going back to, or then playing LA his former team. It's like they
Goff playing the
literally
Rams.
swapped.
This is such a crazy schedule. And if Joe Flacco ends up playing the Baltimore Ravens, it's just like storylines on storylines.
I'm going to let you answer this one first. What do you think?
I think the Rams are going to win it. I feel like the Detroit Lions are banged up. I feel like Matthew Stafford is on point right now. And I feel like with Detroit losing a lot of players, I feel like they're super banged up, especially in that last game. They had a lot of players go down. I think they're going to get upset.
I think this is the first disagreement. I agree. I believe in the biting of the kneecaps. I'm gonna go with that Dan Campbell and the Lions, and I do agree with you. There is some injuries to be concerned. Laporte is a big one. But I do not want to see LA in there. I do not like any LA team. So just for my haterness, I'm gonna go with the Lions.
I respect it. And if there's any team I want to win the Super Bowl, Lions are my number one.
Yeah, I agree with that. Mm-hmm.
So the Lions are number one. So if they don't get bounced, then thank the Lord, because that's the team I'm like genuinely rooting for. Like this is the team I want to win the Super Bowl. Outside of that, I really don't have one. Maybe Baltimore.
Exactly. I agree with
Maybe
you.
Buffalo, because they haven't won, and I
True.
want to see that fan base go crazy after a Super Bowl. So outside of that, I promise you, there's not a single team. Maybe the Bucks. I don't know.
Oh, imagine the Cowboys win. We would never hear the end of it.
Oh my gosh. My dad's a Cowboys fan too. I'm good. And I believe your dad's a Cowboys fan too.
Yeah.
So we're good on that. And then we have the final matchup. Philadelphia, Tampa Bay.
Bucks.
Who are you picking?
I'm going Bucks. I want to see the Philadelphia Eagles, just the fan base just tear things. So I want to see them crash and burn. I want to see it all. Give me the Bucks.
I love it. Honestly, I do. And I hope Tampa Bay does win it, but I can't see it. I cannot see it. I think Philly's just going to dominate. Honestly, I feel like they are. I feel like this game's going to get out of hand. I would love to see Baker Mayfield advance, though, and take this team to the divisional round. Would be fantastic. Same thing with Detroit. Same thing with the Miami Dolphins. I want to see Kansas City bounce. I want to see Jordan Love win. Like, I want to see the underdogs besides Houston. Houston can get bounced all they want. Need that in my life, but it's hard to see. So we just had two disagreements. Both came on the NFC side with the Rams-Lions game and the Bucks and Eagles game. But, the NFL is unpredictable. Anything can happen. But I'm excited. Like, this is the first time, especially when the Cardinals aren't on, it's just stress-free football because my team's not playing.
Right.
I'm not like stressing bullets, and I'm not even the one playing in these matchups, and I'm still stressed out. So it's kind of nice to get to sit back and relax a little bit, watch great football get played, and be like, you know what? Whoever wins this game, I don't really care, unless it's Houston, because I'm kind of actively rooting against them.
I'm excited about that too. Real quick before I know we just said we're gonna let everybody go, but I got something here from on the same damn bub here on the chat. Anyone see Hollywood's Insta stories hinting to leaving here? Check this out. I got a screenshot right here. Let me take his comment off. So I think he reposted somebody's. Oh, that's Antoine Wesley. Oh, he used to be one of us. And he says on the bottom, next chapter gonna be an eye opening. This feels like do y'all remember when DeAndre Hopkins put that forever grateful, and everybody's like, oh, he's just grateful to play football. I'm like, nah, bro. Like this sounds like he's gonna leave.
Right.
Honestly, this kind of feels like a little bit kind of similar. What do you think? Maybe just kind of something that people say, or what are your thoughts? You're a little bit more younger than I am.
I don't know. Next chapter. I mean, it can mean two things. Obviously, the big one is like the next team. Like I'm ready to prove everybody wrong in the next chapter in my life with a new team. It's going to be eye-opening. I mean, eye-opening kind of speaks volumes too, but it could also be like the next chapter in his life, I don't know, just the next part in his life with the Cardinals. But I don't know. I think it's very 85-15% here of him packing it up.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of what Cardinal fans want. I look at the comments all the time, and it kind of seems like if you're going to allocate some money to a wide receiver, a lot of people do not want to bring back Hollywood because of the price tag. If you're going to give us a really cheap deal for Hollywood Brown, I think people would probably want it. But like, if you're going to give the option for like somebody else, I think you got to go that route.
And you can't tie the fact we gave a first round pick up for him in this decision making because it's tough. It's tough because you want to be like, oh, we gave a first round pick, we need to pay him. Like, no, we don't. We can make the smart business decision and suck and looking in the past.
Yeah.
Look forward, right? Just act like you never gave a first round pick. Make the business decision how it is. If you don't sign a 1 year, $10 million contract, you're probably not going to be back.
Yeah. Take it on the chin, move off and just realize that the Cardinals made a mistake. It wasn't Monty. It wasn't his
mistake.
Yeah.
Why make another one?
Yeah. Agree. All right. Any last thoughts, Mythic?
I think that's pretty much it, man. Just excited for this Sunday, this Saturday.
Me
Playoff
too.
Football.
Playoff football. Let's go. I wish the Cardinals were in the dance, but in the grand scheme of things, I agree with you. No stress. We don't have to worry about it. Hopefully next year we can talk about a very, very successful Arizona Cardinals team. Fingers crossed. All right, y'all. We're going to let you go. Have a great rest of your Wednesday. We'll most likely see you guys on Friday. If not, check out the community tab. We'll let you guys know what we're going to be doing on that day. So appreciate you guys for tuning in as always. Have a great rest of your day. Now, go Cards.